Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, and welcome to another edition of New York Football Giants St. Patrick's Day talk. I could have watched that intro for 2 hours, Paul, but we're here. We got a show to start. It's St. Patrick's Day. Erin go bra, everybody. Uh, Paul has his green on. I have my green on. My leprechaun from another, Mr. Paul Rosen's with me tonight. How we doing, Paul?
Oh, I'm doing good, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. And let me just say, everybody out there that watched the intro, Mr. Kirkpatrick did a phenomenal job with the music, with the graphics. Just unbelievable, amazing job by Mr. Kirkpatrick. So another one of his talents. And I'm looking forward to our St. Patrick's Day show today.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, celebrating with the green. We're on a Tuesday night. We told you all. Thank you all for, thank you, Paul, Bobby, Surge Sports, Kurt, and everybody else at K&K. Thank you for the schedule change. We're on at 6:30 instead of 7:30. B, tornado warnings in my area last night. Heavy winds, lost power after 7:30, but we didn't know at the time. So thank you guys for accepting the schedule change. And what a better way to have when you have a schedule change on a day like St. Patrick's Day. So I'm ready to Irish jig, Paul. We got a fun one for everybody. I'm going to flip spots with you, my friend. You got a
All
fun
right.
one to start the show off while we get some people coming in. This is going to be fun. I don't know who you have on this list, and I got a couple guys in mind, but I think you'll have them on your list. So we're going to see what you got
Okay.
going. And I don't want to give it away. I'm going to pass it to you to tell everybody what you got.
All right. So, of course, with St. Patrick's Day today, and I hope everybody had a safe and wonderful holiday, whoever's joining us. Everybody's Irish today. What would our show be without having a tribute to the NFL and to many of the players who are of Irish heritage? So, what I thought I would do is I would come up with a list of some of the players. Some I'm sure most of you will know, some maybe you don't know, but many of the players. First, we'll do offense, then we'll do defense. I'll also throw in some coaches who have been or of Irish heritage, and even some owners of the NFL team. So let's start right off with our quarterbacks. And it's amazing, Kenny, how many quarterbacks are Irish in the NFL or have been in the NFL. And I
Yes.
guess, hey, let's start with the GOAT, in my opinion. Who else but Tom Brady is on that list. All right.
Paul,
Another
can I
great, yeah,
uh, sorry to interrupt real quick. Let's get two
no problem.
hellos in because these are very important hellos. The first one is Mr. Kurt Valenti. He's got no Irish in him at all, but he's coming in saying the green looks great. He's happy.
Thank you.
Jalen Waddle's a Bronco. Let's go. Loaded.
Congratulations, Kurt.
But when this person hops on the chat, we have to interrupt. Your wonderful wife, Luby, saying, "Hi, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day." So happy St. Patrick's Day, Luby. I hope you like the intro. And Paul just wanted to
Thank you, my
we
love.
got to interrupt when Luby comes on, so we wanted to say hello. But no, I wanted to get that in because I know you got a nice little segment that's going to take a few
No
minutes. So
problem.
I wanted to get the
Hey,
hellos.
when my wife and the inimitable Kurt Valente comes on, everything else is secondary. So, all right. Once again, who else but the GOAT, Tom Brady? Another unbelievable Irish quarterback, great Jim Kelly. Another quarterback who led his team to the Super Bowl, the Raiders, Rich Gannon, is Irish. What more Ryan, what more Irish name than Matty Ryan? Matty Ice is on my list. Andy Dalton, that redheaded Irishman. And is there a more Irish name than Ryan Fitzpatrick, that unbelievable quarterback, now pregame host on Prime? And of course, I have to throw in two Fighting Irish lads. The first one of the great quarterbacks in Notre Dame history, Brady Quinn, and last quarterback a couple years ago led the Irish to the national championship game, Riley Leonard. All right, pretty good group of Irish lads playing quarterback in the NFL. Running backs, Hall of Famer, old time Packer, Paul Horning, another Notre Dame player, and you'll see a trend here, Kenny, with some of the players I have listed here. Another running back, Kyrene Williams, great running back now with the LA Rams. And would this list be short if I didn't include this name? Christian McCaffrey, of course, the great running back from the San Francisco 49ers. Speaking of McCaffreys, at wide receiver, we have the great ex-Giant, ex-Bronco, Ed McCaffrey. And I threw in his son, Luke McCaffrey, who's on the Washington Commanders. At tight end, a couple of old Notre Dame great tight ends. Dave Casper, the old Raider, ghost to the post, if you guys might remember him. And another old Notre Dame player, also played in the NFL, Ken McAfee, who was a great tight end at the Fighting Irish. Offensive line. Some of these names Jody would be very proud to hear. Of course, Jody, a Notre Dame fan, and Bobby Blackjack. First off, John Hanna, old New England Patriot offensive lineman and Hall of Famer. Great player back in the 70s with the Patriots. But offensive lineman, Zach Martin, great Notre Dame offensive lineman. Quentin Nelson, great offensive lineman, guard with the Colts. Mike McGlinchey on Kurt's Denver Bronco, offensive tackle. And Leon Eichenberg, also from the University of Notre Dame. Great offensive lineman. That would be a great five starting for any offensive, any team. I've talked about this guy a number of times over the last week or so. Our kicker, Brandon Aubrey, better Irish kicker than him. And the punter, you may know him as that unbelievable, wild, crazy guy on ESPN, but for a short while ago, he was a punter, Pat McAfee, who punted for the Colts. On
Well,
defense,
let's get some happy St. Patrick's Day in. Take about 30 seconds. Take a sip of your wonderful drink there. Let's get some comments in, and then we'll get the defense.
Okay.
Sharon and Nicole, both Sharon Soloro, Nicole Gizzi, both saying happy St. Patrick's Day to us both.
Happy
St. Patrick's Day to you and your family as well, Sharon. I know you got a lot of Irish heritage in you as well. Trevor's coming in saying, hey, guys, good to see you both. He's got a couple Giants questions, and we'll hit those right after you finish your defensive Irish all-pro team.
Okay. Ironically, not too many players I could find on defense, but three that I found, and they all happen to be safeties in the NFL. First one, a guy who, from my Fighting Irish and actually Jim Harbaugh's old team, the Baltimore Ravens, Kyle Hamilton, great safety from Notre Dame. Harrison Smith, also former Fighting Irish, but a great all-time safety with the Minnesota Vikings. And lastly, a guy by the name of Mark Murphy, who played on 2 Super Bowl teams with the Washington Redskins, voted one of the top players in Washington Redskin history, and co-captain. So those were 3 players on defense that I found who are of Irish heritage, and we celebrate those players And after you ask the questions, I have some coaches, some unbelievable coaches, and some families who are from Ireland.
Well, I'll let you get the coaches and that out of the way, but I got to come after you because you left two giants off this list, and
Okay.
and by their last names that they got to be Irish in my opinion. Micah McFadden, number one, our current
Yeah.
giant who just resigned, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But how about Brad Van Pelt? Vans are Irish last names.
I mea culpa. I had Micah McFadden, and for some reason I didn't translate. I'm not going to make excuses. He should have been on this list. So
I'm messing
I had
with you.
him. But
I'm
no,
messing with
I
you.
don't know if Van Pelt. I'll look
We'll have
up
to
after
look.
him.
Yeah, we'll have to look. But usually Vans are Irish, and the
Yeah.
Macs,
Okay.
uh, the
If I missed that,
MC
then
the MCs
hey,
are Irish too.
no excuses.
Uh,
Another great
one more.
giant linebacker.
One more hello,
So,
Paul, and then I'll let you get the coaches in. Glenn Ashley out
well,
there in Australia. Thank you, Glenn. Good morning. It's morning time still for Glenn
yep.
on the other side. Good morning, my brothers. Paul and Kenny. Happy St. Patrick's Day. He's another Bronco fan. Waddle up to my bar and juice it up with a shot of Black Barrel Jameson for St. Patrick's Day. Well
We'll
said.
raise a
And
glass for you.
and
Yep.
aloha to
All
Patrick
right,
Wilsey.
Patrick.
Aloha, my Eastern brothers. Any big moves you would wish for your Giants? We'll get to that question too, Patrick, in a second. We're finishing up our Irish NFL team with some coaches and well-respected families in the Giants organization, and then we'll get to yours and Trevor's questions.
All right. Coaches, Kenny, amazing amount of wonderful, historic, I'm going to say that, Hall of Fame coaches. So let's start off with our coach, Jim Harbaugh, and his brother, John Harbaugh, definitely Irish. Another, our two-time Super Bowl winning head coach, Tom Coughlin, Irish. Mike McCarthy, another Super Bowl winner, and now coaching Bobby Blackjack's Pittsburgh Steelers next year. Got to throw them in as much as I may dislike them, but the Ryans, Buddy, of course, and his two sons, of course, the twins, Rex and Rob Ryan. And we love Rex, and actually both of them coached in Baltimore. Pete Carroll, longtime coach, not too successful last year. Uh, Bill O'Brien, both college and professional head coach in the NFL. Chip Kelly will throw in, and another Kelly, much as I can't stand him anymore. Brian Kelly, of course, Fighting Irish and last of LSU. For the Bronco fans out there, a lot of Bronco coaches in no particular order. Sure, your current coach, Sean Payton, Mike Shanahan, John Fox, all former coaches of the Denver Broncos. And how about the last two Seans, Sean McVay and Sean McDermott? So a good collection of coaches who are of Irish heritage. And lastly, can't overlook two of the most respected longtime owners of NFL franchises and organizations. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Rooney family. And of course, our New York football giants, the Mara family, John Mara. And again, John, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Stay strong, stay well, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. So those are my tribute to Irish players, coaches, and owners.
Well done, Paul. Lots of work I
Thank
could
you.
see with that in research as well. So I think you did an amazing job. Thank you for that. I want to send a couple hellos out and shout outs as well. Uh, I'll just say the Norris family. Last week it wasn't my cousin Sean; it was his daughter. But the Norris family. Happy St. Patrick's Day. My cousins and second cousins now, and first cousins still with their dad. The Norris family, happy St. Patrick's Day. I want to send a happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure they're celebrating. They're big. They follow us. Bedford Falls. My cousins Brian and Brendan Kirkpatrick running that restaurant down there in Charleston, South Carolina. Sure, they're having a big Irish Day party down there today. So, anybody in that area, go check them out. Tell them we said hello here at the New York Football Giants talk, and we'll go from there. Alf sucks at mock drafts. I love when he comes in because I love saying that name. Welcome again, Alf. He's talking about Waddle being traded. Makes me think Miami could trade A-Chain. John Schneider, if you can hear me, he's a Seahawk fan, so he wants A-Chain over there. I remember you're a Seahawk fan. Let's get 2 questions in, Paul. We'll start with Trevor's. Trevor came in first. Hey, guys. Good to see you both. Are the Giants done making moves before the draft? Also wants to know both of our favorite acquisitions so far, please. Uh, I'll go first on the first one.
Okay.
I think we make another move, Trevor. I don't think it's going to be a big name. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a trade. Maybe trade deadline if we're in the hunt for a playoff berth. But I do think we're going to sign a bigger name offensive lineman somewhere before the draft, I would think. That's a move I think we would make. Other than that, I'm going to say that's about it for us, Trevor. Paul, you agree, disagree?
No, I agree. I think they may be looking at some, I don't want to call them second tier, but maybe under the radar players at this point. I think most of the name, quote unquote, name players have been signed at least, but maybe somebody might get freed up and they might take a look at him at some point. But I agree with you. Maybe on offensive linemen, perhaps there might be some that had previous ties with either Harbaugh or Joe Shane, maybe from Buffalo or even Baltimore or even Miami, where Shane was a front office personnel person. So there might be some point they'll bring in someone else to sign.
I'm going to jump ahead and we're going to go to Patrick's question, and then we're going to go to Trevor's second question that he had in the same
Okay.
sentence. Patrick wants to know any big moves we would wish for our Giants. I can go first if you want, or you can go
Yeah, go
first.
ahead. Go ahead.
I might steal yours here, Paul, and if so, our minds are
It's
thinking
fine.
alike, and that happens a lot. Brian Thomas Jr. would be the guy that I think would be on my wish list if a big move was to be made. It's got to be through a trade because he's But if I compare Malik Neighbors and his teammate Brian Thomas, college teammate, together, that would just elevate them both to be better than they are and have a friendly competition with each other to outperform the other. And Jackson Dart, man, what a duo he would have to throw to by bringing
Hmm.
Brian Thomas Jr. over in a deal. So that would be my wish list, Patrick, my short wish list.
I agree, Kenny. Listen, they've signed guys, Austin, they've signed Mooney, but they haven't, and they brought back Isaiah Hodgins, which we'll talk about shortly, but they haven't gotten that 1A to match Neighbors. And if they can bring in a guy like Thomas, that would that would be the cherry on top of the off-season uh, cake. So I agree with you. I'll ask you a question. Given what the Broncos traded for uh, Waddle, is that sort of set up what the Giants would have to give up for a guy like Brian Thomas, who's younger, who uh, he's probably 3-4 years younger than Waddle, and that could be a big difference.
That could be a problem because I'm not giving pick 5 up for Waddle. for
No.
Brian Thomas. Uh, Broncos gave up pick 30, so
Yeah.
I would give a second round pick for him and maybe a fourth round. He didn't have a very good year last year as opposed to his rookie year. He had a down year, but I still have high hopes for him. And if you can get a second round, give it up for a second round pick, maybe next year, third round pick, I'm in. I'm in, you know.
Would you give up a first round pick next year, hoping that the Giants finish in the playoffs so they'll be selecting, say, below 20?
No,
No?
no. I think what I would do, Paul, and it burns me, but to get somebody, you got to give up somebody. Second round pick and Kayvon, I would do it.
Mhm.
I think I would do it because I have Abdul Carter. You can go and sign one of these veterans. Jadeveon Clowney's got some ties with John Harbaugh. He's still a free agent.
Mhm.
You got Joey Bosa out there. Von Miller had
Mhm.
10 and a half sacks last year. I mean,
Yeah.
you can bring in a veteran guy and not have them necessarily start. They can just be a depth piece and
Mhm.
mentor Abdul Carter and the young guys on the defense. I would do that if that's what it's going to take. I would do that, but I'm not going to give up a first round pick. No.
Okay. Fair
Uh,
enough.
Trevor's second part question. He wants our favorite off-season acquisition so far. Paul, I'll let you go first because I've been going first on the other questions.
Okay. This is not going to sound sexy or anything, Trevor, but I think bringing back Jermaine Illuminor was a big, big part of the offseason. I keep saying you have a guy like Jackson Dart, you got to keep him upright. They solidified their offensive line last year by really playing cohesively. I think Illuminor played really, really well. He wanted to be here, which I think is also half of it. And the fact that they did bring him back, he's entrenched at right tackle. We've talked about, the high draft picking that offensive right tackle, whether it's your guy from Miami or from Utah. But to bring back Illuminor to me really solidifies that offensive line. It gives them the bookends with Andrew Thomas and puts up that front that hopefully will keep Jackson Wright upright and improve him next year.
I like that pick. That would have been one of my top ones, but my top one is Isaiah Likely. I loved him. My One of my best friends down here in Maryland, Dylan, he went to Coastal Carolina a few years back. So when Isaiah Likely was in college and Coastal Carolina was having that good season and starting to get noticed on the map, we were watching those games closely. I liked him in college. And I said, man, this guy would be a great fit for the New York Giants.
Mhm.
And the Ravens took him, which was good because I get to watch Baltimore Ravens games down here. AFC team. I don't have to worry about them in the NFC. I watched him, and don't let his numbers fool you. This guy makes big plays. And John Harbaugh jumped immediately to Joe Shane and said, get him as soon as free agency opens. It was the first free agent signing that the Giants signed, and it was my favorite. Isaiah Likely for sure, Paul. And
Yeah.
thank you for that question, Trevor. Good question. I got one from Glenn. We're going to do this one, Paul, because Glenn, we had this as a fill-in topic for the end of the show, but I'm already seeing how this show is going and the questions are coming in, Paul. We're not going to get to it today, so we're going to shorten it because Glenn shortens the question. He goes, now most of the free agent pool is moved. Who is our favorite player to take at five? We were going to do a segment later, top three,
Yeah.
but we're just going to do the one that Glenn wants. He wants to know who do we take at five? For him, if he's answering, he's saying Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State. And it says if Sonny Styles is on the board, it's very interesting. Do you want to go first again?
All right, I'll go first. And Glenn, I'll answer it this way. It is St. Patrick's Day. We are loving the Irish. You know, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. So just for today, because everybody changes their mind about mock drafts and who they're going to take and who they want. But for just for today, I'm going to say I'm loving love and taking my guy, my boy, my amazing running back from the Fighting Irish. I'm taking Jeremiah Love today at number 5.
Now, that's a great question, Glenson. I wanted Paul to go first. If he went second, I knew I wasn't going to take his guy because I knew that was going to be his guy. So I got a follow up question for Paul that he doesn't know about, and it's a good one. There's a team picking right before us, the Tennessee Titans at pick 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dable's over there. Their running back right now is Tony Pollard. Apparently, they were in the hunt. They wanted. Uh, they didn't pick up a running back in free agency, so it's rumored they may be on the board there at 4. If I'm the Giants, if you're the Tennessee Titans general manager, I'm the Giants calling you, Paul. Are you accepting this?
No, no, I'm
No.
not.
Move one spot up, trade with the Titans, and give up Kayvon Thibodeau. And there you get your Jeremiah Love at 4, and the Titans drop back to 5.
There's 2 or 3 other players that I think can really help the team. Uh, I love Love, as you know, but I'm not to move up. I'm not going to give up Thibodeau to move up just one pick. If they want, I'd rather him go to Tennessee than say Washington or some other team that's going to hurt us. So let him
All
get
right.
picked by the Titans and
Okay.
let him let the AFC South worry about him.
My second one would be would it intrigue you if it was moving up one spot and throwing in Tyrone Tracy? Brian Dable gets his running back that they drafted a couple of years ago. He knows Tyrone Tracy. Would
Yeah, if
that
that's the
intrigue you?
case, I would trade up and give them Tracy, and yeah, no question
And then they
about it.
just move back one spot. They're going to get a stud guy, and they might
Yeah,
not even want the Jeremiah Love. You don't know. So, like, hey, we
right.
don't want Jeremiah
Cool.
Love, but the Giants don't know that. Let's take that
Yeah,
trade.
it
We
could
get
be a
Tyrone
bluff.
Tracy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, Glenn does think he goes to Tennessee. He says you don't give up capital to move up one spot. You could get a trade back and add if you move at all. My guy at 5, and I changed my mind like a girl going to her prom looking for her first dress at the prom. I'm changing my mind every week on who I like at 5. My guy this week, and it's probably going to change next week. My guy this week is Mansour Delane at 5. Delaney, the LSU corner. Yeah, I would like to move back if that's the case, but there's a problem. Washington, I think, is going to be in line for possibly a cornerback. They picked up linebacker and edge rusher in free agency. Their secondary is pretty bad. Ours isn't great. We signed somebody, which we're going to get to in a minute. Paulson
Hmm.
Adebu was hurt. I could see Mansour Delane being in play, and I saw a stat only 13 catches against him last year, Paul, and it was only thrown at 33 times a whole year in the SEC, which has elite
Yeah,
talent. Uh, I think he'll be the first corner off the board. Sonny Styles somehow goes, but Sonny Styles has got now Micah McFadden and Tremaine Edmonds. I think Delane would go right into the starting lineup and be a key contributor versus C.D. Lamb, the Eagles wide receivers, whoever they may be, and Terry McLaurin over in Washington. Give me a lockdown corner. This could be it. That's my pick at 5
good,
right now.
good pick. I like
Right
him a
now,
lot.
I said it might change next week, but Paul's been on love the whole time. I've been changing my mind every week, like a girl going
Mhm.
to looking for a prom dress. So, so uh, let's let's get into our main segment tonight, Paul.
Right.
Wait, first let's say hello to Ernie. Ernie Mays coming in. Hello,
Hey, Ernie.
Kenny and Paul. Go Broncos! Big Bronco fan coming in.
All right. Well, speaking of wide receivers, let's start off with the latest Giant signing, free agent Darnell Mooney, uh, wide receiver, 1 year, 10 million. It seems like a big bag for them, but listen. the attractiveness of him is that he had his best year in Chicago with Mike Nagy as head coach. Had over 1,000 yards with the Bears, 81 receptions, 4 touchdowns, and Mike Nagy was the head coach of the Bears. Give me a grade for Darnell Mooney.
Our friend, oh, by the way, Patrick, growing up, he can only name 3 college teams. One of them was Notre Dame. The other 2 was Colorado and Nebraska. He's saying, go Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Lion
All
Coffee,
right,
by the
all
way.
right, Patrick.
Forgot to mention Lion Coffee really quick. Lion
Yeah.
Coffee out in Hawaii. Patrick takes care of us here at the K&K Sports Show. He takes care of so many people. Probably takes care of almost everybody in the audience. Go check them out. Go on the website, lioncoffee.com. Anything on there, use the code Patrick10. You'll get 10% off of your Lion Coffee products and or merchandise, which is on there. I got to go on that store. I got to go get myself some Lion Coffee merchandise for sure, Patrick, and wear it on the show here, proud with the coffee as well. And thank you so much for always supporting all of us here on the K&K Sports Show and Surge Sports. Bobby Blackjack got his first order. He said he's got to go get a coffee maker because he's one of those Keurig guys. I don't want to use the L word, but a lazy coffee drinker are the Keurig guys, in my opinion. Which I am at work. That's what we drink at work. The Keurig. It's a faster way. But I'm joking, Bobby. I know you're out there listening. Bobby's got a big Seton Hall show coming on tonight. Check them out. 8 p.m. on Surge Sports as well on your Amazon Fire and Roku devices, or you can check them out on YouTube as well, and Facebook. They're all over as well. But the grade, Paul, I'm gonna give it a B plus on Darnell Mooney. I know Bobby's not as high on him. He said drops, but man, this guy can have a big season here in New York. Matt Nagy, like you said, I forgot that he played with him in Chicago. Speed guy. I think it's going to be what we need. Don't know how good Malik Neighbors is going to be to start the season. Darnell Mooney can step into that role and be Jackson Dart's favorite target while Neighbors recovers, and then it might just continue throughout the year. We saw Wandale Robinson have a career year last year. That's all I could see it. Let me get a couple comments from Glenn before you get your next guy. Back to Delaney. Massive help covering. He thinks with Dart, we go target Carnell Tate. Go get corner early in round 2 or slightly trade up. And he's given a big shout out to Patrick with Lion Coffee for sure.
No, great job. I'll also give it a B plus. I really like that signing. All right, let's stick with wide receiver. Another guy who the Giants signed. Small, quick guy. Seemed like they had one with Wandell, but of course, too much money. They signed Calvin Austin the third. 1.5 million could, with incentives, go up to 4.5 million. Very, very bargain basement type of signing. 4-year vet, drafted by the Steelers in 2022. Very quick. In fact, in 2024, against the Giants, had a 73-yard punt return for a touchdown against the Giants. I believe it was on a Monday night game. And so he could even be used as a punt returner. Give me a grade for Calvin Austin III.
This is going to be your Wandale Robinson replacement possibility. And this is going to be the guy that Jackson Dart falls in love with, the guy that's going to be that short 5-yard, 6-yard pass that he could turn into 12 to 20. I like this a lot. Didn't cost much money. Wish Bobby was here. He's a Steeler fan as well as a Giants fan. He mentioned him a couple weeks ago, and I did some research on him. This guy can have a breakout year. This is indefinitely an A, solid A. I'm not going to go A plus, but I'm going to go solid A because this could be your breakout candidate in all of the NFL, not just the Giants.
I'll go A minus. I think hopefully they will be able to utilize him in the ways to get him the ball in space. but with he's quicker than instant coffee, and he can take it to the house on almost any possession. So great pickup by the Giants. All right, going to special teams. We know how bad Giant fans know how bad the special teams have been. Jim Harbaugh came first started in the NFL coaching special teams. He's always prided himself. The Ravens have always had good special teams, kickers, punters. We signed the punter that he had, all-pro punter Jordan Stout, 12.3 million, highest paid punter in the NFL. 3-year deal, first team All-Pro, Pro Bowl punter, led the NFL in net punting. In 68 games in his career, 100 punts down inside the 20. How many times did we see the hammer kick the ball into the end zone, out to the 20? How many times? So frustrating. So that was a great signing. If you let me go first, I'm giving this a solid A myself.
Sure. I'm giving it an A plus. I don't care about the money. You're bringing in, when I look at it, if you're on special teams and John Harbaugh is bringing you from the Ravens and they're signing him on the Giants and they're paying you the most money to bring you over here, tells me that this guy's really good. Not just, like you said, the inside the 20s. John Harbaugh preaches special teams. We saw the struggles. This is the biggest upgrade. You say a punter upgrade? Yes. If you watched Giant games last year, I know our Giant fans did, but some Bronco fans, Seahawk fan, and Alf out there, you watch some of our Giants games last year, you'll say, yes, this was an A or an A plus like I gave it. So A plus for me, and I'm excited about flipping the field when needed.
Yep, very good. Let's go to defense. We signed a former number one pick, a guy who's been in the league about 5 years. Uh, Greg Newsome the second, former Brown, former Jaguar, was traded to the Jaguars last year. Was the 26th pick in the first round of the 2021 draft. Injured a little bit, but he was named to all rookie team that first year. Uh, Giants need desperately some cornerbacks. With a veteran like this, hopefully he can regain his status as a cornerback that we sorely need. Kenny, what would you do grade on Greg Newsome?
Got a good chance to eventually be an A if he can get to that first, back to his first round grade when he was drafted. But I'm going to give it a B right now. It's
Okay.
got a chance. It's got a nice ceiling to be an A, but he'll definitely contribute on this defense. And like Glenn said, maybe you pass up on Mansour Delaney and you go get a second round guy to compete with Newsome if you think Newsome can be that guy that can be the 1A corner besides a debut, becomes an A as a grade. But right now I'm going to give it a B. We'll see how that goes along the year.
All right.
Real
I'll give it
quick,
a B minus.
oh yeah, you first. Go ahead, Paul.
I'll give it a B minus. And like you said, if he gets more playing time, hopefully it'll move up to closer to an A.
We got a couple hellos. Eddie Murphy coming in. Good morning. Every
Hey,
old proud of
happy
you,
St.
Eddie.
Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Uh, he's talking about a guy you're going to talk about in a second. We're doing free agents signings, Eddie. I don't want to spoil it. We haven't done this guy yet, and it's going to be fun when we do him. So when we talk about him, a new name coming in. Don't want to butcher this name, so it's a Bob Dofer or Bobert Hofer, but let's just say Bob. Go Big
Hey,
Blue.
Bob.
Yes, Bob. Thank you,
Thanks
Bob,
for
for
joining us
hopping on,
tonight.
hanging out with us. Free agent signings, Bob. And any questions or please comment along the way. Ask any questions too, Bob. We'll get them up on the screen there, and we'll answer them for you to best of our knowledge.
All right. We brought back an old friend. We lost Dean Belton to the Jets. We needed a secondary safety. Who we bring back? Jason Pinnock. He started 38 games, 37 games with the Giants in 2022 to 2024. Last year, he played with the 49ers. We bring him back on a 1 year deal. What do you think of Jason Pinnock, and what would you grade him?
B plus. I really like Jason Pinnock, and I was sad to see him go. I became a fan of his. He played really hard for the Giants. He did what he needed to do. He contributed in the secondary, and when I look at Dane Belton and Jason Pinnock, I don't see much of a drop off, if any drop off. So I think it was a nice swap. You get him on a 1 year deal. I'm going to go B plus.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was a very good pickup, an astute pickup. He knows most of the personnel, and the fact that he wanted to come back here. You always want someone who had been a Giant and is welcoming back. So good pickup by the Giants.
Can
Let's
we
stay in the
answer?
secondary.
Patrick has a question. Can we answer that one first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's answer Patrick's question. Far too early. Over under on wins for the Giants this season. I'll go first. I think
Go
our
ahead.
ceiling. I'll have to go back and look at the schedule, but I think with John Harbaugh coaching, I think we can be a playoff team. I think the Eagles are going to drop down a little bit. I'm looking at the other teams in our division. We got a shot of being, I think, the second best team in this division. Maybe being the Patriots of next year. I'm going to go ceiling 11 wins. I'm not going to go deep on the floor. I'm going to say the floor will be 8 wins. I think we're going to get at least 8 wins and double our win total of last year.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm gonna say 9, maybe 10 if we get to the playoffs. But if we get 9 wins and we're over 500, I would consider that a very, very good season. 10
Bob,
wins, we're in the playoffs.
Bob has a good question. Let's hit Bob's question. You're the GM. Pick at 5 or trade down. Your opinion on biggest need and why, Paul. Thanks. And Kenny, we'll both answer that one for him.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a cop out, but it all depends on what those first 4 picks. Well, the first 3 picks, was we know Fernando Mendoza is going to the Raiders. It depends on what the Jets, the Titans, and what the Cardinals, crazy as they are, would possibly do. I have 3 or 4 names that I think might be available to the Giants. If those guys might not be there, maybe I do trade down 4 or 5 picks. We've had this discussion on the show before. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to go below 10, the 10th pick, maybe to 8th to the Saints, ninth to the Chiefs. When you get to 10, then maybe not. There's a guy that you really think might still be there. But if I stay at 5 today, Bob, I'm taking my guy from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. But next week, I might take Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs or Arvell Reese, depending on what the other picks are in front of me. But that's who I'm taking today.
This is a great question, and I'm going to have to answer this the way. Well, at pick 5, I'm taking the pick there because I don't think it's our biggest need, Bob, but it's very close. And biggest need for me is corner. Newsom, we just signed. Paul just mentioned him. On the other side's a Debu. These are two guys that are very new to the system. Just, Giant last year, Debu hurt almost half the year. Newsom comes in, he struggled a little bit. Mansour Delaney would be my pick at 5. But if the Giants think wide receivers their need, you may see the Giants trade down. My biggest need is still offensive line, but I do think we're going to bring somebody back, and it might not be a popular pick, but I think Greg Van Roten comes back, and he did pretty good with the Giants last year. So that's the biggest need for me is fill in that right guard. Greg Van Vroten, bring him back. I'm okay with that. He played there last year alongside Illuminor. Bring him back. Get that offensive line, keep it the same as last year. And it wasn't terrible last year. We saw it take big steps. So that would be my biggest need. Bob, thank you for the question. Secondary corner is also a huge need, and if I can get Delaney at 5, I'm going to jump on that.
Okay. We talked about this guy earlier, Isaiah Likely. First pickup by the Giants, former Raven, signed 3-year deal, 40 million, could be up to 47.5 million. Tended to be a backup to Mark Andrews, but I think this kid's going to be a breakout star. What grade do you give it?
A plus, and this is the reason why. Ravens, minus last year, they're a playoff team, and they're almost a Super Bowl team. These are guys that are on that roster that know how to win. You cannot sugarcoat it. They know how to win. I said it a few minutes ago. I've watched him in college at Coastal Carolina. Really loved what I've seen. Watched him early in his career. He's been blocked by Mark Andrews, in my opinion, taking away some plays. And it's nice to have that two wide receivers. Theo Johnson hasn't been able to play a full season yet. Give me Isaiah Likely. Take over maybe that starting role, or maybe even push Theo Johnson to be better. This move in multiple ways is an A plus for me. And thank you, Bob. Bob's thanking us. Paul, he said solid answers. I'm all in on surrounding Dart immediately. Offensive line.
Yeah, I'm going to say an A also, Kenny. And I can see the Giants utilizing this guy in a variety of ways. Play him out in the slot, play him close to the line in regular tight end, but utilize him and Theo Johnson. I think you have two guys that can stretch the defense. So there's a multitude of ways that they're going to be able to utilize him. All right. Our next player, another former Raven, and for me, this guy might be the most underrated signing with the backfield that we have. Cam Scatterboo coming back. Love Tyrone Tracy sharing the ball. Patrick Ricard, fullback. To me, one of the most underrated signings. They paid him. He's the highest paid fullback. Obviously, not many teams utilize fullbacks anymore, but this guy is 6'3", 300 pounds of raw savage coming out of the backfield. And with him and Scatterboo and even Tracy, he's been a 6-time All-Pro, 3-time first team All-Pro. The offense was number one in rushing. The guy just clears holes, and he's a pretty good receiver coming out of the backfield. So give me a grade on Patrick Ricard.
I just want to say thank you again to Bob. He's got to head out. He said he subscribed. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. And
Thank you,
anybody else
Bob.
out there, if you like what you see on here, it helps us out. Give us a like. Give us on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, give us a like. Hit the like button. Free of charge. It helps us get to know more people, and it helps everybody in here, get to know each other better, as well as we're one big happy Giants family over here. So thank you, Bob, for subscribing. We really do appreciate that. Is there a better grade than A plus? Because that's what I would give this signing. I mean, and then Eddie Murphy's got a question, by the way. We'll get to that after we talk about Patrick Ricard. Is there a better grade? And that was who Eddie was talking about earlier. He said Ricard, 300 pounds, scat 2 to 220. Who's gonna go against 500 pounds of running full speed at him? LOL. And that's what I was gonna say. Imagine
Eddie Murphy would.
We got what was that movie? Like you see Paul and I like with the well, you're gonna see Scatterboo and Ricard. What were they? Step Brothers? Will Ferrell and
right.
That's gonna be Scatterboo and Ricard, because when I look at them, it looks like Ricard looks like his older brother. I mean, it is just gonna be fun to watch. A better grade than A plus.
They're going to come out with a movie, Stepped On Brothers.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm just so excited to see Ricard. And Ricard's a weapon in the red zone. and
Yeah.
moving the chains. Like he's made some plays with Lamar Jackson, and Jackson Dart's a mobile quarterback. Patrick
Hmm.
Ricard's going to be a sneaky weapon. If it wasn't for Isaiah Likely, this would have been my favorite signing. I know that answer that was asked earlier, but
Yeah.
this one's right up there, Paul. I'm so excited about seeing what Patrick
Yeah.
Ricard and
No.
Scatterbill is going to do.
Very underrated. Another one of my favorite signings. We even spoke about it a couple of weeks before free agency, trying to project Tremaine Edmonds. The Bears released him. We talked about should the Giants even attempt to think about trading for him, and fortunately, he was released. They signed him to a 3-year, $36 million contract, 8 years in the NFL. The guy's had 100 tackles every single year he's been in the league. He's a leader. He will work with our young players like Abdul Carter tremendously. He'll set the tone. Wouldn't shock me if he's named captain coming in here next year. And the guy just is an incredible player. Shane knew him from Buffalo. He was a first round pick when Shane was up in Buffalo. So give me a grade for Tremaine Edmonds.
This one's a solid A. And when you talk about, you need to upgrade at positions, Bobby Okereke, great. I wish him the best. He was a good Giant. He did what he needed. He did what he was told to do. He was a captain multiple years, but you can slowly start to see his decline, Bobby Okereke. Tremaine Edmonds isn't there yet. So you got your Bobby Okereke replacement. And like you just said, leader, never under 100 tackles. Guy can cover. Whatever you want him to do, he's going to do it. And I think I'm with you, Paul. He will be a captain next year. Solid A on that pickup. I want to let's get Eddie's in case he has to go. Let's get Eddie's
Okay.
question in. I know he's going to be on the list, so we might as well bring it up now. He has a question. Evan Neal has no guarantees on his contract. If he doesn't make the team, does that contract go on our dead cap hit? If it did, Eddie, it's only going to be like $100,000. I tried to look on online for you to get that answer, but I didn't see it. So I'm going to say probably nothing. If not, like Ralph Cramden would say, a mere bag of shells. It would be the dead cap hit. But so you mentioned that, Paul, but you got him as a free agent signing, so we might as well
Yeah.
talk about him.
All right. I was just about to say, let's talk about Evan Neal. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, pun intended, quite honestly. Can I go first on this one?
Hmm.
I don't know what was a bigger shock, the Giants re-signing this guy, or um, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but in any event, my grade until I see otherwise, this guy is an F. I mean, the perception that they brought him back, it's just mind-boggling. If Jim Harbaugh could get anything out of this guy, excuse me, if John Harbaugh can get anything out of this guy, then he's a miracle worker. He really will be. Go ahead, Kenny.
I'm not going to be as harsh on the F grade. It only cost $1 million. You do have 90-man roster to fill. So he's familiar with the building. Maybe you get something out of him at guard. He was a top 10 pick. Maybe he just fell into hard times with Brian Dable and that group. But I'll give it close to an F. I'm not going to give it an F. I'll give it a D because
Okay.
they're bringing him in to compete for that open guard spot. It's not like, oh, they're gonna have him play at tackle behind Andrew Thomas and he's gonna have no shot. He's gonna have a chance, and it's a D right now for me. If it doesn't work, you move on from him. Here's our good friend Bobby talking about Search Sports recently. Bobby,
Hey,
uh,
Bobby.
8 p.m. Paul. So we'll move the free agents a little bit so we can be off by 8 for the Seton Hall show. We got time still though. We can go a few minutes overtime. Apparently
Okay.
Harbaugh had a high draft grade on Evan Neal and loves big linemen, so he's going to get a chance. I'll give it a D. Paul gave it an F. We're going to see if
All
that
right, let's
changes.
see.
Like you said, maybe John Harbaugh becomes the best coach in NFL history if he can get something out of Evan Neal.
Yep. All right. Well, if he can, then he's a miracle worker. All right, go back to special teams. I had projected that the Giants should match the Cowboys' Brandon Aubrey second round pick. I thought you could steal him from the Cowboys, and I would give up a second round pick. But Giants went a different way. They signed Jason Sanders, who actually missed all of last year with a hip injury. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come, but let's be positive. In any event, he was a former first team All Pro with the Dolphins. He actually kicked 27 straight field goals a couple of years ago to set a Dolphin record. He his 85% field goal average percentage was the highest in Miami history, and they've had some good kickers over the years. So, and not to rub it into Broncos fans, he was the kicker in that infamous game where Miami beat the Broncos and scored 70 points in that game, 72 points or whatever the heck it was that year, a few years ago. So, Jason Sanders, Kenny, what kind of grade do you give him?
By the way, Eddie's saying, can Evan Neal play defensive tackle? LOL. Excuse me. This one I'm not. This is my first one. I'm not. Besides Evan Neal, this one I'm not excited about. This one's right down the middle, a C grade for me. We just went through kicking problems last year, so many, and you're bringing in a guy who didn't play at all last year. But it's a C and not a D or an F because it's John Harbaugh. And I know he preaches special teams. So Giants have their medical team. They probably did an evaluation on him to see if he's healthy enough to start the season. Got the thumbs up from the medical staff. I'm okay with this for now. I'll give it a C, and I'm going to trust our head coach that he knows what he's doing when it comes to special teams.
Okay, I'll give it a B. Again, I'm going to err on the side of Harbaugh knowing what he's doing with special teams. So if he could regain a little bit of what he did in the past with the Dolphins, hey, I'll take it. All right, let's go to the Giants players that they've re-signed, and I talked about Jermaine Illuminor, bringing him back on a 3-year deal, $39 million. He called himself the best right tackle in football. Give me your thoughts, Kenny. What grade would you give him?
Great signing by the Giants. Bring back that offensive line. He didn't play bad last year. He's been great. He got a pay raise. Giants brought him in on the cheap 2 years ago on a 2-year deal. He gets a pay raise. This is a solid A. I'm not going to give it an A plus. I'm not going to give it an A minus. I'm going solid A. He'll be the right tackle to start the season, and hopefully be the right tackle to end the season. And I'm going to give it a solid A. Our bookend tackles, Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Illuminor. I'll take that against anybody in the league.
I agree. Solid A. He wants to be here. Giants wanted him. Marriage made in heaven. And he played very well last year for Jackson Dart, and I think it's going to only improve.
Real quick, Eddie's saying Sanders going to compete with that rookie from last season, he read. So the rookie was Salds, right? He actually did decent.
Yeah.
The left-handed, left-footed kicker
Left foot.
is going to have an opportunity to compete with Jason Sanders. So we shall see for sure. But that's a good point there, Eddie. I didn't forgot about
Yeah.
Saul. Better kill Sauls.
Good point, Eddie. Thank you. Another guy we brought back. He was clutch a couple 2-3 years ago when the Giants made the playoffs. Had a big game in Minnesota. Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver. They re-signed 1-year deal. What's your feelings about bringing him back again?
I like it. Again, the 90-man roster. He gets to play. Maybe he becomes a practice squad guy again. Depth piece, gets to play a little bit here and there. Keep bringing him back, and this is the second coaching regime now that's bringing him back. So they must like something. I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. I'll give it a B. I'm okay with it.
Okay. I agree. Another guy who was injured literally for most of last year on defense, linebacker. When he was healthy, he had a pretty good year. A couple of years, Michael McFadden. You astutely mentioned that I should have had him on my Irish
Mhm.
NFL team, which you were so true. Um, 24 he led the team in tackles, 107 tackles. So hopefully he's healthy. What do you think of bringing him back?
If we didn't sign Tremaine Edmonds, this would have been a C, maybe a C minus. This is a B minus for me. I like Micah McFadden. The injury last year, he was out all of last year, but gets to come back this year. B minus to start with a high ceiling to be an A minus alongside Tremaine Edmonds. This could be a nice 1-2 punch in the middle of the Giants defense that we didn't have last year. So I'm
Hmm.
okay with this. I like this move. B minus for me with the opportunity to jump to an A minus with a big ceiling.
Yeah, I'll give it a B. I like him when he's been healthy. Of course, if he needs to be in there playing, not on the sideline. So I'll give it a B with being very optimistic that he's going to be ready. And like you say, teaming with Edmonds would be a pretty good linebacking core for the Giants. A guy that you love, Gunnar Olszewski, punt returner, part-time receiver, had a big game the last game of the year against the Cowboys. Even threw a touchdown pass. We all remember that crazy play in Detroit with Jameis Winston catching a touchdown on a option, a flea flicker by Gunnar. Can do a lot of different things. Good kickoff, punt returner. Glad he's back.
Absolutely. He's the 2026 version of Phil McConkey. Like he'll just do whatever you want him to do. He'll return kicks, punts, uh, good hands. You don't see him fumble much on returns. That's why he's back there. Very solid. He'll get, average almost 10 a punt return. I love this, and I'm okay with him going out and trying to compete for a job again. Give me an A for Gunner.
Hey, I'll do a B plus with him. Like you say, he has really good hands. It's rare that he fumbles or misplays a ball. So you want that back on punts especially. So I'm glad they brought him back. Somehow he gets into the mix of things, and I think he'll be useful. Like you say, 90 players on the squad. So there's a place on the team for Gunner. And essentially, those are the free agents that the Giants signed. And like we said, hopefully there'll be a few more that they'll bring in over the next few weeks before the draft, and not high end, but hopefully players that'll be very, very useful in the course of a long season.
Well done, Paul. I do have two more for you. One sign today that's going to drive you nuts. I just know it already, and but I'm going to tell you who it is. And then one that probably just because we signed so many, you probably just forgot. Our Darius Washington, I think,
Hmm.
is an A from me. I think he's got a chance to be the gunner on special teams. And
Okay.
again, we've said this numerous times tonight. If John Harbaugh is bringing over a special team guy from the Ravens, you can know damn well he's going to be pretty good on special teams, and that's what I think. Our Darius Washington's coming in to be like that gunner type of player, and I like that move. But the one that's going to drive you crazy, we talked about Evan Neal, right?
Yeah.
Josh Azudu got re-signed today.
No kidding.
Give us a grade on that one, Paul.
Oh my God.
That's another D for me. 90-man roster. Again, maybe
Yeah.
you get something out of them in preseason and they make the team. Maybe they beat. Remember Austin Schlottman? We talked about. He's
Right.
gone. Some of the backups are gone. You got to fill in these backup spots. Maybe you bring back the guys that are familiar with the team as opposed to, you know, finding a fifth or a sixth round pick that it's never going to play, So I think
Yeah.
that's maybe the reason why they come in as a chance to be a backup here and there. But yeah, I just thought you'd want to hear that one.
Thank you. I hadn't heard that, but I appreciate the update.
Eddie's asking about a live draft. Yes, over on the other network that we're on, Rocky Mountain Sports Network, Eddie. We'll be doing one over there with with some giveaways as well, Eddie. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing it a little more on here as we get closer. But yes, we will be doing something on here for sure. Paul, some final thoughts?
Yeah, it was great hanging out with you on St. Patrick's Day, Mr. Kirkpatrick. It was fun. Always good to catch up with you and everybody. We love to have uh, not just our regulars, but new folks that have stopped in, uh, comments, questions. We appreciate that. We'll be doing this either Monday or Tuesdays, depending. Just hang out with us either day, and we enjoy doing this. And as we get closer to the draft, of course, we'll be doing more mock drafts and giving you more input into what we think the New York Football Giants will be doing.
Thank you, Paul. One last question from Patrick for you. Back in the day question, because this is your guy. Was it time to move on from Eli, or should have they tried one more go?
You're asking the wrong person, because I would have had Eli playing until he was Tom Brady's age.
I
um,
was happy. I would have kept him though. I would have kept him like they did. I don't think it was time to move on from Eli. Two
yeah,
Super Bowls, giant royalty, Mount Rushmore quarterbacks, uh, maybe Mount Rushmore top four all time. So I'm not moving on from him neither. I think the Giants did the right thing with Eli.
yeah, yeah.
And
Good
then
question.
they trusted. My final thoughts. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Eddie. Everybody tuning in. Our new subscriber, Bob, coming in on YouTube. Again, thanks to Surge Sports, Bobby Blackjack. Uh, Appreciate you. Go check out Seton Hall show coming on at 8 o'clock. They got the big Seton Hall media guy coming on with those guys tonight. Good stuff over there. Successful season. They just missed the tournament. Better luck next year. The women's are playing, I think, in their version of the NIT. So good luck to Coach Boz over there at Seton Hall. And everybody else who came in and said hello, asked questions, commented along the way. Paul and I will be back Monday next week, our regular scheduled time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, it's St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Have a happy one. Erin go brah. And one last time, Paul, we did it in the intro. So we're going to have a 2 minute enjoy the music, everybody, outro. Happy St.
Have a good
Patrick's Day,
night.
everybody.